Oh, just another night that ends in pain. What is new with NBA DFS? Welcome. My name is DK. We're here to talk about this 9-game NBA slate. Looks like a pretty good one. Good size slate. My favorite slates to play usually those 5 to 10 gamers. So excited for this one. If you guys are a first-time viewer, again, cover content NFL, NBA, as well as prize picks. If you guys are playing the NFL slate this weekend, make sure to check out my video. And again, the sponsor is Prize Picks. Got hooked in basically every play today, so that was no fun. We'll talk about Pirtle getting in massive foul trouble in a second here. That's just so incredibly tilting. But they are the sponsor. You can use the code DKDFS. That'll give you a 100% match up to $100. So take advantage of that free money. It's fun. Again, you build player props. So a lot of different sports. Give it a try. Also linked down below. All right, guys, let's recap tonight. So just incredible pain here. Just incredible pain. Jakob Poeltl is my big flag plant. He was the guy I was just all over tonight. Now I knew he was not going to be super low, but yeah, Poeltl was the guy that I was like, all right, I love Jakob Poeltl tonight. And in the first quarter, he had 20 fancy points. And got in massive foul trouble to bail out the faders. 3 quick ones. You better believe 3 quick ones in the second quarter. Early in the second quarter, too, might add. Start the second half. How about number 4 right away? How about Poeltl not coming back until 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter? Better believe that happened. How about this? How about me absolutely nuking Jakob Poeltl over 12.5 points everywhere? Just everywhere. Insane units on Jakob Poeltl, 12.5 points. And he has 8 points through the first quarter. I'm thinking, this is just free money. Massive foul trouble and hooks me. Finishes with 12 points. Loses 10 plus minutes. Talking about just incredible pain. Just incredible pain. So going over the rest of my lineup, Jrue Holiday, Seth Curry, Hart, Boucher, Portis, Lillard, Ben Simmons, and Jakob Poeltl. So I was really banking on Jamal Murray not playing. Usually when a player gets a midday downgrade like Kyrie Irving, they don't end up playing. So I'm thinking, okay, I can get Bruce Brown at way lower ownership than he should be. If Jamal Murray gets ruled out, of course Jamal Murray ends up playing. I pivot to Josh Hart. Josh Hart does nothing. That's just no surprise. I ate the chalk with Jrue and Seth Curry and Bobby Portis and Damian Lillard and Ben Simmons. They all smashed besides Portis. I've mentioned a few times that Portis has had a lot of letdown games recently here with Giannis out. And then, I was debating Boucher versus Achua as my contrarian value play. Really liked both as contrarian values. Unfortunately, Boucher was a bit of a bust, and Achua had a really good game. The one positive today is I did take over Achua 4.5 rebounds, so that was nice over on BetMGM, running really hot over there. But just incredible pain, man. Incredible pain with the Poeltl. Poeltl would have won for 50 plus this game if he didn't get in foul trouble. So, oh man, so tilted about that and Jamal Murray playing. Come on, can I just run good once? When I leave a spot, can the player actually just not play? Painful, man. As NBA DFS is usually your night ends in pain, but just pain. Okay, so let's move on to this 9-game slate. We'll start off with Washington and New York. The big news here is Bradley Beal. He's currently questionable. If Brad Beal doesn't miss, if Brad Beal doesn't play, Porzingis and Kuzma get a bump. We saw a pretty big game from Porzingis last game against the Warriors. And then Kuzma obviously gets a bump as well. Both would be firmly in play, in my opinion. Monte Morris, DeLon Wright would split the point guard duties. Both had good games last game. You saw 43 from Monte Morris. DeLon Wright also saw a minutes bump and played some alongside Morris, played 28 minutes total. So I think those two guards would be intriguing plays if Beal's out. The rest again is there. I mean, Gafford, Rui, Denny, they're playable. I guess if Gafford continues to start, he probably would be my favorite option, but the minutes have ticked down on him a bit of late. Moving on to New York, pretty easy team to talk about. They're going to play massive minutes. Randall, Brunson, they both should play around 40 minutes. Like the matchup for them, so I think both are pretty good options. RJ Barrett, well, he played 49 minutes last game, but when I played him and needed just 20 points to go over Prize Picks, you better believe he got in foul trouble and only played 32 minutes. Come on, man. There's just no one runs worse. It's literally etched in stone. There's no one that runs worse than me. The RJ Barrett 6'6", probably plays a lot. I mean, his minutes have been a little bit up and down. Like this game, he didn't get in foul trouble, only played 27 minutes, but if you told me RJ Barrett's going to play 40 plus minutes, I think he would be my favorite play in the Knicks. I'm not 100% convinced he gets those minutes based on, recent games. Mitchell Robinson at 5'5" should play mid-30s minutes if he can stay out of foul trouble. Like his ceiling. Don't think there's anyone else that I'm interested in. I mean, quickly off the bench feels a bit pricey. Grimes should still get decent minutes, but he's just not doing a ton with them. Let's move on to Atlanta. Dallas, not the best matchup here for Atlanta. Young, Murray, playable in tournaments. Neither really stand out. Capella, Okongwu, those split the center minutes. Don't think I can get to either at their respective price points. Bogdanovich feels priced right. DeAndre Hunter should play a lot. I guess he's fine in the mid-range, but there's really nothing that I love here for Atlanta. On the Dallas side, a little bit different. Luka Doncic. Let's just get this out of the way. I played Luka Doncic here. I faded him here and was looking great against the Lakers. All I needed was the game to end. Double overtime for the Jewelers. But when I play Luka, he's not playing the fourth quarter. No. I've literally gotten an average of 40 fantasy points the last 2 times I played Luka. But when I fade, yes, sir, double overtime in 70 minutes. Price could come down, though, Luka, and I like the matchup. I think he looks really good at the top. The mid-range guys with Wood and Dinwiddie, I think Wood is still playable at 8'6", should play a ton. Dinwiddie feels a little bit pricey. I think Reggie Bullock's going to start and play a lot. I think he's a fair value play, but he's not going to do a ton when he's out there. Dwight, I think they're probably assuming that, let's see. Oh, so Dorian Finney-Smith is expected. All right. So I want to see, he's questionable, what kind of the minutes are going to look like. If he's back and good to go, no limit, then I think Dorian Finney-Smith looks like a solid play. But if he's back, that's going to make the secondary options like Hardy, Bullock, Powell look riskier. So that's actually pretty important. If Dorian Finney-Smith is out, then I think you could take a shot in Jaden Hardy. Played very well off the bench last game. Could maybe take a shot in Dwight Powell too. So that news is pretty important. Indiana and Oklahoma City. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for pain, man. Ready for pain. They can't keep getting away with it. They can't. So, while I think TJ McConnell is in play, my opinion, he's going to be way overowned tomorrow. Way overowned. On average, been playing mid-20s minutes off the bench. You could not expect him to average like 3 fantasy points a minute. And McConnell is a decent point per minute guy. But this is just one where I have a pretty good feeling he's going to be popular tomorrow. And if he is, I'm fine fading. And if he goes for 50 plus fantasy points in like 24 minutes, then you're just going to see me extremely tilted on Twitter. It's simple as that. Really simple as that. If everyone's going to play McConnell, I'm just going to rather play Andrew Nembhard at a fraction of the ownership, the actual starter who can expect more minutes from. We've seen a couple big games from Nembhard. Don't forget that game against the Warriors, a couple other games, like he does have a ceiling. So I'm just going to take that stand. If McConnell smashes again at giga ownership, like I said, you're just going to see me on full tilt mode on Twitter. Really that simple. That simple. The rest of the Pacers. Miles Turner, 7-1. Really like his ceiling. No Halliburton gets a bit of a bump. One for 53 fantasy points in 36 minutes. Yeah, I like some Miles Turner. Hield, Mathurin, they should get a lot of run. Hield played 38 minutes last game, but when I played Buddy Hield, you better believe he went for 11 fantasy points. Yes, sir. Benedict Mathurin at 5'6". His minutes become a little bit more in question, so I think I'd give the edge to Hield over Mathurin. Aaron Naismith's 4'2", should see mid-20s minutes. He's just kind of there for me. Don't really think I'm going to get to anyone else. Jalen Smith probably backs up Turner. You probably see rotation minutes for Duarte and Brissett, but Don't think I'm going to get to anyone else. In Oklahoma City, it's really just the two guards in Shea and Giddey that I like. The ceiling's clearly there. SGA's been not having the best games of late, but it's because Josh Giddey's been really taking over. 50-plus fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games, alongside SGA. So Giddey at 7.5, still firmly in play, as well as SGA. It'll be interesting to see what the ownership is, though, on those two Oklahoma City guards. Not a ton else. I mean, if you land on Jalen Williams or Lou Dort, that's fine. I mean, Jalen Williams' minutes have ticked up a little bit of late. Lou Dort, if he plays mid-30s minutes, that's fine. But I don't think I'm going to mess with the front court. Like, whoever starts the 5, I just don't want to deal with that headache on this slate. Cleveland and Memphis. So Donovan Mitchell is out. I can't wait to get let down by Darius Garland and Karis LeVert again. But yeah, these two look way better with Mitchell out. LeVert should play a lot. Darius Garland should be the clear go-to guy offensively. They both look really good here. I like the front court. I think they're safe. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, these guys should play mid-30s minutes. They both do have a ceiling. I like the ceiling a little bit more with Jared Allen than Mobley, but front court I think looks pretty good. Not a ton else here. Kevin Love, always someone you can take a shot on in tournaments. Ricky Rubio did play 17 minutes last game. Hasn't really done a ton, but his minutes are slowly ticking up. Don't think I can get to him yet. And then Cedi Osman probably enters the rotation with Mitchell out, but with Ricky Rubio there, I'm not as confident with Chedi's minutes. So, if this was just a couple weeks ago before Rubio returned, I actually would be pretty interested in a min-price Osman, but I don't know what the minutes are going to look like here with Rubio there. All right, moving on to Memphis. So, not the best matchup here, but I like Ja Goat Morant. Had a massive game in 3 quarters last game against Phoenix. He can do it. Doesn't matter the matchup. So, yeah, Ja looks good at the top. If you want to try to take a shot in Triple J or Bane in tournaments, that's fine. These guys do have ceilings. Steven Adams should play around 30 minutes. Relatively safe play. But outside of the main guys, there's really not much here. Miami, New Orleans. Kyle Lowry is questionable, so we'll keep an eye on that news. As far as the rest of the Heat go, I like Bam probably the most at 8.8K. Just should play a ton. Has a pretty high floor, high ceiling. Jimmy Butler, been a little bit up and down, but I think he's playable. And then Tyler Hero is 7.3. Only played 31 minutes last game. I think his minutes will go back to normal. If you give me 38 minutes from Tyler Hero here, I do like his ceiling if Lowry's out. So keep an eye on the Lowry news and keep an eye to see if we have any sort of news if Hero is still on a limit. But I don't think there's a ton else. Oladipo, Strus, Vincent, probably not going to go there. Moving on to New Orleans. Not the best matchup here for the Pelicans, but some guys that are in play. CJ McCollum, still leading the offense, still a guy that has a high ceiling. The minutes have ticked up on JV of late, 30, 35 minutes. If he continues to play, 30-plus minutes, he is underpriced here. It's just not the best matchup. And there's still no guarantee in the minutes. We have seen games where JV only plays 22, 21 minutes. So still, I think more of a tournament-only play. I think the wings are your safest bets right now with Herb Jones doubtful. You should get mid-30s minutes from Najee Marshall, a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Trey Murphy been playing much better of late because I haven't played him, but I played him infinite times at no ownership these games. And then he's just finally playing well when I don't have him. But the two wings, I think, are your best bets. And then Alvarado, too. Played 34 minutes off the bench last game. So the value plays for the Pelicans, I think, look decent. Even Dyson Daniels started and played 29 minutes. So Daniels, Alvarado, Marshall, Murphy, probably the easiest guys to get to. Charlotte and Houston. Well, this is a very appealing game. You got two teams that play fast, two teams that play no defense. No Oubre, Gordon Hayward doubtful, Cody Martin doubtful. I think LaMelo Ball stands out as one of the best bottoms in the slate. He's going to be popular, but for good reason. He looks really good. Rozier at 7.4. I think firmly in play. Should play 35 to 40 minutes. Does have a ceiling. And I like the front court too. Mason Plumlee been playing extremely well of late. Does feel a bit underpriced here. And then I think Peach Washington also looks pretty good at 5.5. They're just playing a lot of minutes right now. So I really like the Charlotte Hornets team. I even think McDaniels is a pretty good play. Had 26 real-life points last game, and now is a bit of an outlier, but you probably get around 30 minutes from him at a sub-5K price point. Off the bench, I don't know if I trust the backup bigs. They've been going back and forth like Richards and Mark Williams. I just don't think I want to risk a DNP. Dennis Smith Jr. should play low 20s minutes. I guess he's viable off the bench, but that's probably it on the Houston side. So, depends on Kevin Porter Jr. If Kevin Porter Jr. is in, there's really not a ton that I think stands out, even though I like the matchup. If KPJ's out, then things change. Then Green and Sengun become in play. I don't love the price points on either, but you saw the ceiling from Sengun when they run the offense from 70 fantasy points. I've been saying it all year. You guys know I've been literally all year long. with Sengun. And Jalen Green, he'll do more ball handling. He'll get more shots up. So he would look better too. And then these value guys would look pretty good. KJ Martin, would start and play around 30 minutes. He'd be a good value. Eric Gordon gets a usage bump. He would look pretty good. Jabari Smith would be viable at 5'4". And then even, you can take shots like Tate Easton. Those guys would play close to 20 minutes off the bench. But if Kevin Porter Jr. plays, then I think it's just all tournament plays. KPJ, Green, Sengun, I think would all be viable in tournaments. But I don't think there'd be any standouts here for Houston. And then moving on to the Clippers. So this is one where I think that both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George don't play here. Back-to-back, Paul George's been out for a while. We haven't seen Kawhi Leonard play a back-to-back yet on the road. So just throwing this out there, I think it makes some sense to bet the Jazz here. I don't think you're going to see Kawhi and Paul George. I could be wrong in that. I could. But I think both sit. So with that being said, Clippers are where we could get value tomorrow. So let's just assume really quick, if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are out, then Mann, Powell, Morris, Reggie Jackson, Nick Batum, Robert Covington, these guys all really stand out. Zubac as well. Starting lineup would probably be Mann, Coffee, Morris, Zubac, Batum. So they seem to want to bring Powell off the bench. I think they'll keep Reggie Jackson off the bench. So I think that would be the starting lineup, actually. Amir Coffey gets spot starts here and there. But yeah, the main interest would be Powell, Mann, Zubac, Morris, Batum, Reggie Jackson, Covington. Those guys all look really, really good if Paul George and Kawhi both sit. If Paul George and Kawhi both play, then it's just there's nothing that stands out to me. I think you can take shots in the two wings in Kawhi and Paul George, but they both feel a bit pricey. Zubac, always someone you can consider too, but the big news is keep an eye on that. So I don't think it's the worst idea, again, to bet the Jazz here because I don't think those two play. All right, moving on to the Jazz. Lauri Markkanen, big news, questionable. If he cannot go, it's going to make Utah look pretty good here. Jordan Clarkson and the rest of the starters get a pretty big usage bump. Of course, Clarkson had a letdown game last game where I just needed a decent game from him. Walker Kessler, someone that I have on all my best ball teams. He's looking really good of late. Also, a great rebounder, good point per minute guy. If he continues to play around 30 minutes and Markkanen's out, I think he really does stand out. Mike Conley, if there's no Markkanen, I think it's a pretty safe play at 5'3". Vanderbilt, Beasley, Sexton. These guys all look better if Markkanen is out, right? Just a lot of usage to go around. So this whole team's going to look pretty good if Markkanen is out. If Markkanen is in, then I still like Kessler. I still think Clarkson and Conley are playable. And then Markkanen himself would be viable in tournaments at 9-4. Minnesota, Denver. Anthony Edwards, questionable, but I expect him to play. He's been questionable last couple games. Gobert, on the other hand, I don't think plays. He was questionable last game, gave it a go for 5 minutes and couldn't return. And it's only been a couple days, so I don't think he's going to be available. And then Taurean Prince, questionable. I think he will play. So with that being said, I think Anthony Edwards, D'Lo are pretty good tournament plays. The price is still a little bit too cheap at Ant. D'Lo, 6'8", should play over 35-ish minutes. So those two do look pretty good. Slow-mo, I think it's a relatively safe play. Had a big game last game, but that was a bit of an outlier. And then the front court, if Gobert can't go, I really like Naz Reid. My only concern here is Naz Reid is super foul prone and will be defending, Nikola Jokic. So, right? But if Naz Reid can stay out of foul trouble, he is a smash play here. If he gets in foul trouble, the issue is I think they'll run a combination of bigs off the bench. I think they'll throw Garza some minutes. I think they'll throw Nathan Knight some minutes. So, don't know which way they would go. Both saw minutes last game, which again worries me because I would rather have it just one of those guys in the rotation, but if both play, then it makes it hard for me to recommend either of them. And the rest of Minnesota, McDaniels is foul prone, but he'll play 30-plus minutes if he stays out of foul trouble. The minutes have ticked down on Noel of late, but he's still someone you can take a shot on in GPPs. On the Denver side, Jokic looks good. He's going to look a bit better if Gobert doesn't play. I think the only worry would be if Gobert doesn't play is potential blowout here, but Jokic looks phenomenal. I think Jamal Murray's a bit too cheap here at 6.5. He was 7'6" today, right? Now he's only 6'5". So like Jokic, like Murray, I think Gordon, MPJ are viable options. The main guys for Denver, I think, look pretty good. And finally, Sacramento and the Lakers. This is another pretty appealing game. Late night hammer. Again, two teams play fast, very little defense. My boy Sabonis has been super, super consistent. He should play 35 to 40 minutes. He'll give you a double-double. He'll probably give you, 6 to 8 assists. Love the spot for him. Like I said, I really like Sabonis. De'Aaron Fox, a bit more up and down, but the ceiling is there, and the price point's reasonable at 8-3. Barnes, Herter, Murray, all playable on the wing. You want to take a shot at Malik Monk for tournaments, that's fine. The minutes have ticked down on him a bit of late, but again, if he shoots well, they will extend him a bit, and he does have a ceiling, so he's just always someone that has some interest in for tournaments. And finally, the Lakers. LeBron James questionable. I think he'll play. I mean, he's been questionable the last couple games with this ankle soreness, and he's given it a go. Assuming LeBron plays, I like LeBron. I don't think he's like a smash play at 11-5, but still a spend up I think is interesting. Westbrook, more of a tournament-only play at 9K. Should play low 30s minutes off the bench. The minutes have ticked down on Bryant. He's also dealt with some foul trouble, so he's a pretty risky play. If you think they continue to close with Wendy and Gabriel, you can take a shot on him at 4-6. Schroeder, just indifferent on him at 5-5. Value-wise, a couple guys I'll mention. Pat Bev, Troy Brown, playable. Pat Bev should see mid-20s minutes. Troy Brown been playing a good amount. Not an exciting play, but he is 3.9K. And then you'll see rotation minutes for Kendrick Nunn off the bench. A relatively high usage player when he's on the court, so another viable tournament play. So that is going to do it for the 9-game slate, guys. Again, if you have been enjoying, just make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's hope tomorrow night does not end in pain.